Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm sharing the card that I created for this week's The Spot Creative Challenge, where the design team challenge was to case the designer, and I also happen to be the designer we're casing. So here's my card, and let's get started. So for this card, I'm going to be using the Right Triangle bundle from the annual catalog. Now, as soon as I spotted this in the catalog, I knew I had to have it. It has this set of triangular shaped stamps with different patterns, and then some great little background or fill pieces, and then this set of 19 triangle dies, most of which are stitched, and they come in the isosceles, equilateral, and right triangles, and then these accent pieces. Just fabulous to my way of thinking. So I've got a piece of Whisper White for our stamping, and I'm going to start with Bumblebee and stamp a couple of the smaller images. And I'm just setting my stamp on the ink pad and letting it get inky. No pouncing, no shoving. That's the technique that I like for inking my photopolymer stamps. And it ensures that there's not ink up in all the little grooves, and you get a nice detailed image, and you don't have ink all around your block as well. Okay. So I just need those two in the Bumblebee. And then I need the Just Jade. And we're going to use a slightly or larger stamp for the Just Jade. I'm making sure that it's good and inky. Make sure it gets contact all the way around. Okay. I may stamp that one more time. My Just Jade ink pad is very juicy, and let me grab my piece of scrap paper over here, and I'm going to stamp off first on the text weight paper, and may have stamped off too hard. There we go. And then let's see what we get here. Okay, I like this tone better than this. This is great, but I want the lighter shade. So let me step off camera and die cut these pieces, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got our die cut pieces here that we stamped, and this stamp was for one of the right triangle dies, but I wanted to use it with an equilateral triangle, so it's got a little white edge to it. I actually like that, and will be playing with that idea in my head for a future creation. And then I've used the dies to cut pieces from the Brights family designer paper, and a Night of Navy banner with a little stitching on it. And then this little inlaid design from the one die. So now we need to do just a little more stamping before we are ready to move on to assembling. And I just want to put down a random pattern of this splatter, and I'm kind of turning it so that it doesn't all go the same direction. And okay, let's put that away. And then next we're going to add a piece of Magenta Madness to the back here, and I'm going to apply the adhesive right around the pattern here so that I make sure that my piece of cardstock that I'm adding isn't going to have adhesive coming through the pattern. So I've only gone on the outside edges here, and that makes sure that I'm not putting glue through those triangular holes. Okay, let's put our base together before we start adding our triangles. And I've got a Night of Navy Slimline base and a piece of Whisper White to go on the inside. And just making sure that we're centered here. And then one of those scraps that I love to save to put on the inside of my cards. This is a 1/4 inch offcut. And we're just going to put it out here, and it just adds a little detail to the inside, so it looks a little more finished. Okay, so let's put this piece on, and I'm going to be using my black Stampin' Dimensionals behind this piece since we're going down onto Night of Navy. And make sure you put plenty of dimensionals on. It's a long piece. And then you need to add some to the center here so that it's not going to sag. Okay, let's make sure that we're even here. Okay, and brush those out of the way. And now it's time to start and add our triangles. So let's bring my dimensionals in. I'm going to add a couple of regular size dimensionals here, and then a mini here, and I'm just going to lay these on while I decide where my dimensionals need to go for each of these. Do you do that? I always do a dry fit on my cards. And by not putting dimensionals under the end of that one, then it's not going to fight for the dimensionals on this Granny Apple Green. And then this one is going to get a couple of these minis, but it would be good if I get it on the back where it's not going to show instead of just over the edge. Okay, all right, and then this one is going to get some of the black mini dimensionals. And I'm just going to put either 3 or 4. I'm not doing every one of the pennants. Okay, so I see one of my dimensionals sticking out over here, so I'm just going to take my paper snips and cut that little bit off. Okay, and let's see if this one down on this end is also maybe peeking out or just the backing paper. Either way, it's gone. Okay, so I'm going to put my Granny Apple Green triangle down first. And then I'm going to take my Just Jade that we stamped and tuck this in here. I want to give it just a little bit of an angle. And then we're going to put on the Coastal Cabana, and let's put a little adhesive up here where it's going to lay on the Granny Apple Green. And I'm seeing that I might want one of these mini dimensionals all the way up here at the point on this triangle. Okay, let's move that out of the way. And we're going to tuck this one just under. And this one's going to sit on top. Oops. Let's take my Take Your Pick tool. I have one of the backing pieces that's trying to come along. It's not part of the design. And then we'll put our little navy banner across here. Whoops. Jumping out of my hand. With the end of that underneath. Okay, and then let's add a little bling to our card. So I've got some of the Playing with Pattern resin dots and some of the Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and we're going to do a little mix and match here. Just want to bring a little more color over. And I want one more of these in the yellow. And then I'm going to add a rhinestone to this trio. Don't want it on the same line with the other one. Let's bring it up just a little bit. And we can stick another rhinestone in down there. This one's not making me happy, so he has to go home. Okay, I think that's it. So that's the right triangle card, casing myself from a paisley card. If you'd like to see the original card, check the blog post referenced in the description below. You can purchase all of today's products in my Stampin' Up store. Give this video a thumbs up, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel if you would like to receive notifications of future videos. Then you'll want to ring the bell. Thanks for stopping by. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. Have a great day.